The end of our first day of the Boston Major is upon us. A couple more games to get under our belt in the first two groups of play, the second of which will be played tomorrow. And we have witnessed our fair share of twists and turns already. Joining me to understand exactly what we've witnessed and also what we have to look forward to, I have a delightful panel. We've chopped and changed once again. Jack is joining us for the first time. Good to have you here.
Good to be here, man. Fellow English panel rookie over here.
Yes, this is an absolute pleasure. I've only heard good things. I've only heard good things, and of course Shiva and Gods on the end there. Holier than thou. How have you been? We haven't really had a chance to catch up. You've been busy casting games. What's been going on the other side of things?
Not much. Other groups been pretty fun. There's been a lot more of the closer, longer series. We had some crazy Mega Creeps games happening over in Group A. So kind of been catching up on what's going on in Group B, but as we get down to the wire.
Yeah, they got up, by the way.
They have, It's turned around.
Yeah.
Who helped us there? Was that DC?
Mostly Wings. They just 2-0. They had a fast 2-0 just now against LGD Forever Young, so that kind of caught things up a bit. Yeah.
That's kind of them. Now, of course, we have to. I know we are focusing on Group B, and that is our primary port of call, but we were just talking to Jack off air, and we just have to focus on this Warriors story just for a little bit, just a tiny touch on it, because they took it to Wings in 3.
Yeah, the simplest comparison might be a little bit like TNC from TI. No one really expected much out of them.
Yeah.
They proved to be stronger, and God knows more about the SCA region, but they were just so excited and happy that they were able to take that first game even off Wings, just seeing them in the elevator, and they were like, we got one, and then to win that series. And, of course, right now they have to do it again in the decider match.
It's tough because most people, like, there was a lot of power rankings going around. Most people had WG Uni, 16, 15, right down at the bottom. So for them, even if they walk away, like, losing in that first round of the main event, they can say, hey, we took a best of 3 against Wings. They've already proven something to their fans and the SCA community. It's something they can be proud of regardless of their outcome at the main event.
Absolutely. And, of course, that's going to be going down on the secondary stream. So you got to go ahead and grab 2 tabs, or if you've got 2 screens, welcome to the Master Race, and pop one on either side. But first, we have to turn our attention to what is coming up on our broadcast. It is, of course, Newbee. And we have the great pleasure of having Chinese mastermind alongside us, Jack, to hopefully shed some light that we wouldn't know already. We found ourselves singing the praises of SCC, getting excited for KP, amongst others. Now, when you see those 5 names, Jack, what springs to mind immediately?
Well, a couple of things. You mentioned SCCC. Now, a comparison I've heard within the Chinese community is Newbee as basically the Chinese OG in a sense, where the 4 of them will pick more active heroes and let SCCC kind of develop himself and then take over late game.
Wow. Basically the miracle.
In a sense, basically, yeah. And we've seen, some of those plays, obviously that Invoker stuff from MDL. And KP has also adjusted himself in the off lane to be more of a playmaker, create more space to help SCCC reach that point.
Like a Freudian slip. I like it. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, can we just clarify the SCC story? He's been picked up, huge shoes to fill, right? And this is 9K MMR. Is there much more history to him?
Well, when this team was first formed, I think people were surprised that they're as good as they were. They said, this looks a bit like a Tier 2 team. You've got SCCC from Newbee Y, you've got Tongfu UU9 coming up, and then Faith, former actually TI2 champion, coming up. And people were like, I'm not sure what to expect from this team. They did surprisingly well at MDL. And then they kind of dropped back a little bit. So I think people were like, maybe this team that is really their potential, and they've reached it. But in recent months, they've really gelled. They've been winning basically everything in China domestically.
I think the key piece is actually the player. You didn't mention Kaka because he pulls everything together. He's often talked about as that new era of Chinese captains, and he's like, KP is his own teammate, of course. Soxman is the best captain in China, so he's the guy who's also 9K MMR, playing a support role, captaining the team. He's the guy who makes this unit function.
I've heard him referred to as a Kaka Gold by multiple players as well, so Kaka God. Also 9K, by the way, so 2 9Ks on the same team.
Well, we'll talk to our own God here on the panel to maybe walk us through NP as well. That's, of course, who they're going up against. We've seen an awful lot of them in B, and it has been a mixed bag for us here. Yeah,
so, God, Bruce, is that hair? What? First things first, what is up with that hair? Secondly, this is a team that can be somewhat predictable with their picks. I think they're a very easy team to prepare for, not to say that's necessarily always a bad thing, because they're so good at executing their drafts. Like, what kind of hero pull AUI is going to pull out. The Sven, the Invoker, has often been their go-to first 2 picks. They've had envy on often more of the kind of flashier mid-heroes and putting AUI in those stable farming cores. But the big player for me that stands out is MSS. This is the guy that makes all the plays, creates all the space for the team, and has really stepped up when the team's had a rough early to mid-game. He's won lanes that he shouldn't. He's had an incredible tournament here so far, just in their couple of series they played, and he was a big kind of reason for them qualifying in that first spot in the America region.
And NP, our first showing, Shiva, of NP left a little bit to be desired.
Well, yeah, but the question is, was that really their fault? Or was that just Virtus.pro being absolutely dominating? Because Virtus.pro is a very fast team, and NP not necessarily so fast. So we're going to see if they might be able to speed it up. Obviously, it's a learning experience, and NP, I mean, they're a team to improve as the day goes on. So I'm imagining already previous series, we already saw that they did learn, and they did win that series. So they're on a comeback, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it could be just a gradual increase from the VP result to going all 3 versus MVP. We can take a look at the featured matchup now, and I will kind of guide this towards you, Jack. We're taking a look at the off lane here. It's going to be MSS and KP.
So that's been one of the big changes for Newbee. KP used to be a bit more of a greedy player in terms of tendency and resources that they gave him. But recently, you look at his game, it's been fairly simple. They'll pick his heroes very early on, like an Axe, Sand King Slaughter, and they'll use him to help control the pace of the game early on and help SCCC get to that critical point. And with another fighting core and UU9 at the carry position, it's been working very well for them.
Yeah, and you can see it even just in the numbers. Like the KP's getting less kills, but more assists, dying a bit more. That's not necessarily a bad thing. If anything, Newbee's win rate as a team has been just as good, if not slightly better than NP's to some extent, but he's just a bit more selfless, whereas MSS sometimes had games where he had to step up, played heroes like Timbersaw where he needs to kind of carry his own weight, whereas KP's playing the Slaughter, which is a hero where you're never going to rack up lots of kills. You're always just going in, getting the crushes off. Your team then cleans up for you. So it's a very, very different style of offlaner for the two teams, but both play their part within them.
Now, I want to know if that Aussie flag by his name is going to affect your predictions as well, because that's where we're going next.
I've been a bit of a Newbee fan for a while now.
You have?
With reason.
With good reason.
Good reason, thanks to KP. And a lot of their success. I mean, they went on that. The longest win streak in Dota 2 history was from this team.
Sure.
Some absurd, like 32 wins in a row or something.
So.
Can't remember what it was.
Around that number, yeah.
Australians are coming out in force, you know, whereas good 5 or 6 of us here at the major.
Wait, you were telling me in the green room, aren't you like the 3rd or 4th most represented?
Yeah, by country. We're up there.
You are up there. You're on your way.
We're doing pretty well.
Exporting some good Dota.
Yeah. They don't stay in Australia. They're like, all right, peace, we got to get out.
Well, your internet does suck.
Yeah, it's close.
That's Australia. That's holding Australian esports back. But you're going for Newbee, just to clarify.
I mean, unbiased opinion, I think, Newbee has the edge here. I think looking at just some of the matchups, the way Newbee works as a team with KP enabling his cause, I think SCC can outmatch Eternal Envy. And I think Newbee as a team have just shown a lot more ability to be versatile here at this tournament so far.
Giving Newbee the benefit of the doubt. Now,
Likewise.
Shiva, the same thing for you?
I mean, Newbee has just, I think, overall looked better, having higher expectations of them going into this event as well. And even though NP, we just saw them take a game off of MVP against Newbee. I mean, the total game time was like 55 minutes of the 2 games that they played. It was very one-sided, which, you know, and Newbee has a very high tempo as well. And I don't think that MP can, like, live up to that. So Newbee for me as well. Favorite going in.
I have a sneaking suspicion that this could be a very, very Newbee-esque. No, Jack, you have to explain your answer.
All right, well, I love NP. If you're around NP, you get a chance to talk to them at tournaments and stuff.
Yeah.
They're such Dota junkies. Like, every little thing they love to discuss, like, to the finest point. Theben says sometimes, you know, we go over something for 3 hours and we won't come to any conclusion, but you just love being around them. They're theory crafting, how much they think about everything. Yeah. But I think Agent 3154 is going to do what he needs to do for Newbee this game. So I'm going to predict Newbee in the series.
Look at the graphics, guys. Just put words in your mouth. Yeah. He gave you the NP. If they saw that, there you go.
Yeah.
That was a relief. And just because I want to be different, I want to be a hipster, and I have absolutely no basis for this because it does. Everything points towards Newbee taking this one. I'll say NP, just because I like Rose's hair. That's my justification. What do you think?
Well,
good basis,
you know, it's an acquired taste.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that hair, yeah.
But I mean, let's not forget that there was a lot of faith in Newbee at the start of Group B. I mean, we called this the Group of Death for a reason, right? VP was scary, NP was scary, as were Newbee. MVP were a bit of an unknown. Yeah. And the way the land has settled, was this a predictable outcome for Group B before we do jump into the draft, Shiva?
I would imagine so. Virtus.pro, I think everybody was expecting Virtus.pro to do really well, and as well as they did. 4-0, it's great. They do exactly what people were expecting them to. I think MVP kind of underperformed. People were... Okay, they were hesitant at first, and then with Forev coming in as well, and him also going back to the offlane, people were thinking, okay, you know, this is MVP of Volt. We can see this happening, and I think they were kind of most of the letdown here in terms of not being able to beat NP. NP is still a bit of a question mark, but I think overall they have played out the way that most people were expecting them to.
And do you kind of, as we take an opportunity to talk about NP just a little more, Gods, do you like this project that NP have undergone? Kind of just pulling together people, obviously, I like the way you described them, Jack. A bunch of Dota junkies, a bunch of pals hanging out in a house and playing some good Dota.
I think it's great. They built something from the ground up. They're here at the major. They're obviously doing great as a team. The results kind of speak for themselves. They're kind of up there at that, trying to break out into the really tier 1 level where they can start winning tournaments at an international level. But they've made it far in a lot of them. They've made it to finals. They've had great series against Wings before. Yeah, Wings has mostly crushed them, but they're talking about versing a TI champion there. They've beaten EG in a best of 3.
Sure.
I think you look at NP in such a short amount of time, what they've accomplished, it can only really get better and they can improve. There was a lot of doubts and kind of skepticism around some of their players, like looking at Envy and his credentials as a mid player, and I think even more so AUI in the carry role. When he played the carry for a little while with Evil Geniuses, it was kind of lackluster. He got a lot of criticism and flack from the community, but they've come out and proven a lot of those haters wrong. So I think it's fantastic.
Fantastic will be the word that we'll stick to then, as we do start to see what the social media side of things have done with their predictions. And let's not forget that Desk does believe Newbee's going to be doing damage. Does this surprise you? Twitch are believing NP are going to be taking
slightly biased.
No, it's Twitch. Twitch, I love NP. This is the people's team. This is the people's champion right here. As far as predicting Twitch chat's outcome, it was always going to be NP.
They're hard to hate, NP, aren't they? Every time we watch an interview, I mean, MSS just brilliant with Slacks not too long ago. And it looks like Twitter was a little more split, coming in for 55 to 45, giving Newbee just a slight disadvantage there. Of course, the Chinese aren't going to be rocking it on Twitter often, as you would expect.
True. I think overall, though, coming into this, NP, they just, you want them to win.
Yes.
And when they win in a spectacular fashion that nobody was ever going to believe was ever going to happen in a Dota 2 game, because they just make it happen somehow. They do the typical, well, former Cloud9 thing, the typical Envy thing, maybe just, pulling something out of a hat that people didn't think were possible.
While it is on screen, we did get confirmation on what that is. It's like, what did
it's a cold, cold something.
Cold or hot?
It's a cold.
It's cold.
Okay.
You said cold.
Yeah.
So he's working through a fever right now.
Cool. Is that really the inside info? Okay. So he's playing with a fever.
Tough time.
So keeping his head cool is needed.
And you mentioned NP just now. I mean, we've seen some really unique things come out of them. Remember at the summit, they had this like almost WoW raid strategy. They would have like a huge tank, like was it like a Centaur, somebody park in front. That game with the Sven where they just kept putting Lincolns on him. And they come up with things like this, like maybe not intentionally at the beginning, but it ends up looking like that. And I think it's really interesting that they, from their theory crafting, will come things that are useful and at least very entertaining.
And it's not all theory crafting in advanced match. They theory craft live. Like they're doing it. How do we win this game where it seems like we're in this kind of impossible or really bad situation? Or how do we close out a game where it's kind of even? They find some item that's going to, like you mentioned, like the Lincoln Sphere, like where they just chain spam it on the front line here. Or they find some way to just come up with something new that the opposing team can't deal with on the spot.
It's the anime story. You got to be down before you can get back up. But, they do play better from behind, it almost feels. So, I don't know. NP, I hope that they're going to do well. But still, my favor still goes to Newbee, and we'll see what's going to happen.
I mean, I did see a similar statement coming out from Newbee on Twitter today. I think they tweeted something along the lines of, "Nothing is given, everything is earned." I think that's a nice motto to see them through this group. It looks like the ban... it looks like the draft is about to begin. I'm just tripping over my words. And let's jump straight on in.
I was going to say no Naga Siren ban, but they do end up banning it because NP would love to snatch that up if they ever got the chance. But no, it will be Shadow Demon instead. We saw previous game, it was Shadow Demon Luna, wasn't it? So they do like to play for the late game. And Shadow Demon Luna, if they can do that again, they would. So Jack, what do you expect to come to see here from Team Newbee?
Jump in.
I think you're going to see something probably in Axe or Sand King early on in the pick phase. I think that's where they usually go to. Well, as I say that's not what happened, but they often try to hide SCCC's hero in the draft, and so with this draw we could see an OD or something like that coming out mid later on that they want to protect their Miracle-esque player.
And now you can take advantage. You've got the draw there. You can take advantage of the fact you have the last overall pick in the draft. So you have the 10th pick. Nothing can be picked to counter it. The only thing NP can do to protect themselves is by banning out things that could cause them problems. So this is like the draw enables and makes so many mid-heroes that much better. So it's a really good position to be in as far as picking SCC's hero later on the draft.
We are going to see that duo. It's back.
So what's the scariest hero for that SCC has for up against like if you give him a draw aura? Which one do you definitely not want to face?
Ooh, good question.
Well, I would lean towards an OD in a draft like this, especially with the ability to clear illusions. You're going to see that obviously from the SD. Otherwise, I would have said maybe something like a Timbersaw. It doesn't synergize as much with the aura as well. So that's also very scary. And of course, the Invoker signature here.
We saw the TA earlier today. He actually got the first rampage of the tournament playing a Templar Assassin, so that's another consideration, I'd say. But I mean, it's one of those things where there's so many scary heroes that, he's so flexible that there's not like one hero that's going to stand out as being the worst of them.
Just reflecting upon some of those bans, we did see Rubik taken away by NP.
Yeah. And NP seems to be targeting. I think they're kind of saying, well, there's a lot of mid heroes. Let's ban out some of the KP heroes. So they ban the Sand King. They may even ban the Slardar as well, because KP's hero pool is a lot more limited. Some of the numbers before the match we saw, he has like his 2 most played heroes, Sand King and Slardar. He plays way more than anything else. They were like 20% of his played heroes each. So
something you said to me before at the start of this segment was regarding NP and having a predictable draft. Is that like something that you believe is necessarily a downside to NP? They have a predictable nature to their draft?
No, not necessarily. I'd say like VP have a predictable draft. Like, you know what VP's going to do. They just do it so well and you can't beat it. Yeah. But it does give you the ability to prepare for them and choose, like, pick your poison a bit. Like, okay, we're going to give them this and prepare a strategy like in advance to beat it. Whereas Wings is the complete opposite, where you have no idea what. Game 1, they have an opening 2 picks, and then Game 2 will be something radically different with no clear reason. EG's the same thing. They'll do something completely different from Game 1 to Game 2.
So it is the MSS Timber Saw that Newbee is afraid of. They remove that, and they remove also Envy's Mirana. So we'll be curious to see what's going to end up in the mid lane. That mid lane is going to be very exciting to watch and see. Because Envy struggles a little bit with the mid lane. We've seen it before, and obviously he is a hero, or player rather, that can catch up, and he's great with that. But today, overall, his Queens of Pains haven't been exactly
It does seem like they've given up on that now.
Thank God, yes.
Well, I say that a little ahead of time.
Now,
yeah,
but
for now.
Yeah.
He's a player his laning stage isn't his forte. That's his weak point as a mid laner.
But it is something that Newbee can definitely exploit.
Yeah.
So where do his strengths lie then? If he's not necessarily, the most phenomenal laner.
His decision making, his ability, his itemization, decision making is probably the biggest thing, where he knows how to get the most out of his hero in the mid to late game.
Right.
He's one of the best late game decision making players, carries or mids out there.
Yeah, I described to have high highs and low lows, Eternal Envy.
That is the way.
Known as the artist in China. I've mentioned this before as this meme goes, because he sees things sometimes that nobody else does, and he makes these decisions, as you said.
Ooh.
Okay, so the Ring of Basilius mid, I'm not sure if he still does it, but that amazed me. That he could, like, right before an enemy would last hit, he would toggle his ring on so that it has a little bit more armor, so that it gets, you try the last hit and you just have a little bit of health left so he can deny it. I mean, that was, for me, mind-blowing the first time I heard that he actually bought that ring because of that, just for that tiny gimmicky thing. It's crazy. But he is the person that comes up with those things.
That is smart.
Or I believe Merlini came up with it at some point. Someone in a very past future. Past. In a very distant past.
Very distant past came up with this.
Came up with this, yes.
It is. I mean, you say it's a minor difference. It is just those little increments that can push you over the finish line. So we are going to be seeing another Slardar. Seems to be quite a regular presence in the drafts today.
Yeah, I was thinking the Bat Rider comes out really often. This is something you pair up with the Silencer, because you get the Blink Lasso and then you immediately global silence. So it's impossible to counter initiate. You get one of your heroes picked off, and normally you have like a Oracle or some kind of way to save them, Avenge Swap, whatever it may be, or even just a Slardar Blink crushing in. But the instant global silence combos really well with the with the Bat Rider.
A way to separate, your big heroes.
And this is taking a page out of VP's book. You got the Slardar Darkseer commonly banned against them. This kind of bullying offlane, I think that they're going to run at Newbee, seeing that they have the Drow, who doesn't do that much early on in the lane. And so that's going to be interesting. I thought they were going to go in a different direction, maybe an Omni or Baden, another kind of NA offlane, to help deal with the single target from the Bat Rider and the single target damage that Newbee has right now. But it is the Darkseer.
Darkseer is nice because he builds naturally into the Greaves, so you purge off the global silence, which I like about the hero. But
how do you guys feel about running an aggressive tri-lane with the Luna, Slardar, and Shadow Demon into a Drow lane? Is that an option, or is it preferably going to be the dual lanes coming out from that?
Can work. The Ogre would have to then kind of rotate to make sure you get that tri-lane versus tri-lane action happening, but there's no reason why it doesn't work, because Luna Aura giving them all the bonus damage, it means they can actually contest the lane, but it's a bit hard because Luna's got the short range against the Drow Ranger.
So we've talked so much about Shadow Demon Luna being a scary combo. We've seen evidence of it, in fact, very recently in the previous game. When you talk about countering that or kind of hindering that, what do you look for in the draft? to stop the Lunar Shadow Demon illusion party?
So either you want to be faster than that strategy is,
Yeah.
which is something that I think that Newbee can already do by the default, but you also want to have heroes that can clear illusions.
Just clear them as soon as possible.
Yeah. And so far, I mean, they're not amazing at clearing illusions, to be honest.
As you look at the OD ban, I like the starter pick because I think it took it away from Newbee, who are very likely looking at it themselves. And I like this Alchemist pick mid as well.
Instant Morphling, though. Wow,
That's quick.
That's it's weird because it's somewhat accounted. They picked it very quickly, but if they'd taken more time, be like, well, yeah, they want to pick Morphling against the Alch because you make a replicate of him. Suddenly, you get to take any aura items he gets. You get obviously a big Chemical Rage Alchemist on your side. So, I think it is picked up against the Alchemist. It was just surprising how fast they picked it against the Alchemist.
They knew it. I mean, they can even make a copy of the Luna.
That's true.
That's great too. Like your own
Okay.
illusions. More
Well,
illusions.
So the draft hasn't raised too many red flags. It hasn't changed your predictions in any way, shape,
It has
or
not
form.
changed my
No,
prediction.
feeling good.
I think I like MP's draft a bit better. I think the Darkseid Slatterling can really pressure a lot. I think the Alchemist, there's not any great ways of beating the Alchemist as much as Morphling means you can create an Alchemist illusion yourself. I think Alch is just going to farm incredibly fast. So I think NP's draft may win it for them.
Giving NP the edge, gods. All right, well, on that bombshell, let's head over to your casters, and they are bombshells themselves. We'll head over to your casters to guide you through our final game of the day. Of course, Winter hanging out.
Thank you very much, Alex. Indeed, we're ready to get into the final series of Group B. It is MP versus Newbee. I'm OD Pixel. I'm going to be joined by Winter for this lovely, lovely little game. Alchemist, Morphling, what's the dealio here? Who's coming out on top?
Dude, Alchemist, Morphling, Shadow Demon, Luna. Illusions.
Illusions. They thought they nerfed it. Hey, Ice Frog, where you at now, mate? Anyway, we should be able to get ourselves into the game. It's all kicking off. So, I mean, let's talk about this as we go through both of the sides. As you said, it's a lot of illusion-based coming out. Who do you favour? Who's come out on top of this draft? Do you feel that or have both teams got their strength? And talk to me about the silencer pick. We don't see teams do that every day.
Well, firstly, about the lineups, I think I personally prefer to be on MP's lineup.
Okay.
Easier to execute it with the SD, Luna, and Alchemist. And I don't think Newbee would be able to put a lot of pressure in the early game to slow down the Alchemist too much. I think he should still be able to get his farm. I mean, it depends on what the Ogre wants. If he decides to help the Bat Rider, because if he pressures the Alchemist, he's not going to be able to help the Bat in the bottom lane. Bat Rider against the Luna SC lane. He shouldn't get too much, so it's about preference whether Newbee decides to pressure the Alchemist or to help out their Bat Rider. Too many things they need to, handle in the early game where you can only choose to help out one.
Very nice. Here for KP, starting off the game, and we'll be able to pick up the Obs Ward of MP, making his offlane that little bit easier. And I mean, I guess that is one of the questions to ask as well. How hard is it going to be for KP down here on this Bat Rider?
It's all going to be up to the Ogre, whether you help him or you're going to just choose to prioritize shutting down the Alchemist. Back to the silencer pick. I think Newbee just is one of the few teams that, they rate the hero very highly as a position 5 support. You zone the offlaner very well. You're very valuable as a position 5 support because of your global. And he packs a punch, if you get a lot of intelligence.
I mean, I guess that's the thing. As you said, Silence are very good against an offlane hero, but he's having to deal with two. On this top lane, we are going to have this combination of the Slardar, Darkseer. How much can a Silencer do against the both of them?
He's not really that great against multiple heroes on the offlane. He's really good at zoning one. But I do agree that he's not that great against 2 heroes, 3 heroes. But later into the game, he's very useful as a support. Like, not only for the global, but he has a lot of damage from his spells and his right click. Not something that you should underestimate with the draw aura.
That's true. That's absolutely true. And in fact, top lane Faith, he's kind of wandered over here to have a bit of a look in onto this top lane. SVG and MSS able to give him a fair bit of a punch back there with the Iron Shell.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to talk about as well is the idea of having the Morphling against the Alchemist, because you morph a lot of agility, so you have a lot of armor to withstand the harass from the acid spray, and you have a lot of damage, so you are able to deny the creeps. So if you look at the mid lane CS right now, SCC so far has been able to deny 4 of Alchemist creeps, so that's really huge for the laning phase against Alch. You want to slow him down as much as you can.
Yeah, and I guess with MP's dual lanes as well, does it feel like they don't really have many options in terms of sending a hero mid to help out Envy? They've got to kind of leave him on his own for the laning stage.
Yeah, I think, look at what they're doing right now.
I mean, top lane.
Yeah, they're pressuring them so much, and they're going to... Oh, SVG is going to go down first.
Yeah, looks like they kind of went a bit over-aggressive there, MP, and in fact, let's see if they play with anything else. MSS will be chased down, but he has the surge, but what a way to give up first blood. They're diving behind the tier 1.
They were like really, really aggressive there because they had a lot of creeps. They pushed the creeps with Iron Shell, so they felt like they were in position to actually try to make an aggressive move there. But like I said, the silencer support is not something that you should underestimate. He packs a punch and he deals a lot of damage. And diving there was clearly not a good choice for MP, and the Ogre was also in the vicinity there. So it was not a very good trade for MP.
And bottom lane here, this is good news for MP as they surround KP, and with a good crush from SVG, allowing the boys to get themselves a kill and return. So now bringing it to 1-1 on the board.
Yep.
And both safe laners finding a bit of action.
Back to your question where you were asking me if MP should send the supports to help NB, but I think that what they're doing right now is okay. They're putting a lot of pressure, especially on SVG. He's pressuring the other lanes, he's pressuring the top lane. He just rotated bottom to kill the Bad Rider. If he's doing something elsewhere, he's forcing the Ogre to move away from the middle lane. As long as the Ogre's not in the middle lane, and basically the SD can stack whenever he can, or the Alchemist would just stack on his own, like he'll be fine. I don't think they need to, you know, have a support in the lane all the time to help him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, some good stacks coming out that Envy's going to be able to utilize. And indeed, just keep him on par, and well, if anything, being an Alchemist, get him ahead of SCCC.
Yep, and that bounty rune, you know, it's all about the bounty runes, securing the bounty runes. Like I don't think people mention it enough when they're talking about the game, how important it is for Alchemists to get all those early bounty runes.
Absolutely, they can rectify kind of a bad kind of CS stage in the laning. Obviously, as we saw at 2 minutes in, Envy did try and get the top rune, but Kaka on the silencer was able to nab it from him, so a little painful there, sending him back a bit more.
It is also the same for playing against the Alchemists. You have to secure the runes. And right now, SVG back towards the top lane, and Darkseer is on his way up, so they're going to be resuming their dual lane pressure here against the Drow Ranger. But so far, he's still farming relatively well. 16 last hits against the Luna's 19.
Yeah, and the thing is as well that both MSS and SVG, they're not really finding much CS themselves, even the Darkseer. MSS struggling to find stuff with the Iron Shell.
Keeping the Ogre here. I think keeping the Ogre here is the more important thing because you're indirectly protecting your Alchemist when you're doing this, because the Ogre can't really move and pressure the other lanes.
SVG has to be a little bit careful, and he's going to come in with a crush, but he's been cursed up as Kaka and Faith surround him, and indeed this is going to continue to take him down with the Ignite as well. He's going to try for the TPL. Oh, he didn't right-click!
He didn't right-click
him! He didn't right-click him! Oh!
Okay, that was...
He must have tried to walk through the trees, and I guess didn't expect him to be right under his nose.
You know, that's why when you do this kind of move, you put you click A on the A ground. Yeah, A click on the ground, so you will always get the right click off.
Wise words, Winter. he's going to be kicking himself for that one, and yeah,
I missed
MP very lucky there
by Newbee, but you know it's not a big deal at the end of the day. I mean, your cores are still farming. That's what matters the most right now, and Morphling is getting more farm than the Alchemist, but I think it's fine with Alchemist. He's like only a few creeps behind, and as long as you're getting the bounty runes and you have stacks.
And he's got these stacks, which is great. Oh, we're going to see the replay as well. So, I mean, are we sure if Faith got that touch, he would have definitely got the kill, wouldn't he?
Yep, he would have.
Oh, as we saw that player perspective. Okay, so it looked like he didn't quite have the chance to get the vision. It was a little bit of an awkward spot around the trees there. But very, very, very close.
And right now, Newbee making a move here. It's night time. A lot of teams do this.
KP looking for the bait, you see, trying to make MP go in on him. And that's going to allow the side of Newbee to get this really deep, nice wraparound on both Aoi and Rose. And in come Faith and Kaka. I don't think MP were expecting this one. Fire Blast onto Aoi. They're going to look to focus down Rose first. As Newbee find not just one, but they should get the second. Indeed, with the curse, they will. Aoi tries with a Salve to give him a love in the stick. Ooh, he's actually going to be able to duke this out for a little bit. But Faith and Kaka, they'll continue to hunt. Kaka stealing intel and already looking pretty good for this silencer. 6 minutes in and 6 intel in the bag.
That's a big rotation from Newbee. Like I said, moving during the nighttime, the first night phase. Really good timing to move. It's easier to get ganks done with the nighttime vision. And very well played by Newbee. Like KP there baiting them into a really bad position, and even though he was really low, he wasn't trying to run away. He was still stacking up the napalm on them, making sure that his team gets the kill.
Yeah, KP, as you said, just very well calculated his movement. Mid lane, MV as we see is caught up in CS due to the stacks. Top lane's actually going to be where the action happens as Aoi TP's back into the game, up towards top. Unai tries to go for the Gust and TP out.
Close.
It was a good attempt, but indeed not quite enough to save him. As MP getting themselves a good kill onto the core and return. And indeed, bottom lane, SVG try for the TP out himself. He's not going to make it. Kaka, he's not even going to go down to the tower here. This support silencer, I mean, it's really worked out for Newbee. Their movements and calls to make are certainly helping them keep a strong foothold in this early game.
Envy went for power trades. Is he going to go for...
Is he going to be the Bastila? Treads, Medallion, Solar Crest, Shadowblade?
I'm thinking if he's going to go for that build.
Do you like the decision to if he does indeed go that way?
Usually when you go that route, you're expecting a lot of pressure from the enemy and you think that going for the Radiance build is way too greedy. So maybe he's trying to figure out, maybe he hasn't made up his mind for sure yet. Like power trades into Radiance, Armlet Radiance is still fine, I think. But I think overall that build is pretty legit. I like the build a lot when you're going up against a lot of pressure. Bottom lane.
I mean, KP again, this man plays really on the edge, and KP actually with a bit of a miscalculation coming in too close to the tower, taking 2 hits, and that is a tasty bit of free gold there for SVG on the Slaughter. That was a little uncharacteristic.
In the meantime as well, Aoi took the tier 1 at top, so that was huge.
Yeah, MP with some nice momentum there.
Right now, Newbee are going to try to pressure the bottom tier 1 as well. They should be able to get this tower. It doesn't seem like MP is in position to defend this. They are choosing to get... Well, Envy is farming the enemy stacks.
He's trying to take KP's farm. KP's having none of it though. He's going to start and play around with the Firefly. Has to be a bit careful. Oh no, KP! Oh my goodness, he can't let himself go down again. He's got it.
He doesn't want to let the stacks go to the Alchemist as well. Like he's trying desperately to get the farm.
Now let's see who gets the gold. Well, that's it's kind of going half and half at the moment, but it looks like is Envy going to be able to finish off the big creeps? Indeed he is. He gets both of the big creeps, yeah. Envy will successfully steal a good chunk of KP's farm.
Oh, bounty rune on top of that. Why not?
Looks like the stars are lining up for Envy.
Yeah, I guess he's still going to go back for the Radiance build at this rate. Like he hasn't gotten any early points in the stun. If you're going for the Solar Crest build, you want to get a few extra points in stun early instead of maxing your greed. So he thinks that he's going to be able to get away with it, and they have the Shadow Demon Luna, so their mid to late game is going to be extremely potent if he's going to be able to pull off the Radiance in a good time.
Yeah, look at this warding as well. They see 4 heroes on the map, so Aoi has this confidence to head up top. And yeah, mid lane, it's where Newbee are really trying to make something happen. But the warding from MP spotted that whole movement around that they kind of wrapped through on the jungle, and now obviously just revealing themselves in mid lane. MP, they're aware of what's going on, so we'll see if they do anything here. They may just let this tower be and have to give this one up to Newbee. Looks like that will be the case. It's at this stage of the game, MP, it just feels like they're not quite ready, are they, to try and stop a Drow push onto a tier 1.
And this is some good stuff from Newbee as well. Generally, when you see Silencer being picked up as a support, you don't expect the Silencer to be moving around. Like, he's been moving around since minute 5.
He's been incredibly active, Kaka.
Like, you expect Silencer to be that support which carries the TP to react, and he's being in the lane constantly pulling to get levels. But no, Kaka has been really active, helping the team secure kills.
Oh, actually, then down in the Radiant jungle.
Oh, Envy.
Yeah, we're going to see Envy being playing around there, but U9 was found out, and in fact, he's trying to get himself towards the rune. It's going to be nabbed from right underneath his nose, and SVG and MSS, they were stood there, and U9 kind of walks up to the jungle at that choke point on his own.
Didn't they have vision? Like they had a ward.
They did. There's a dire observer ward there, and he just kind of walked up the steps into the boys. So, a little bit. Strange plays that.
So Newbee lose the carry. They didn't get the kill on the Alchemist on the rune. So a few sequence of events that favors MP very, very much in the last minute. And right now, Envy is on his way to his Radiance. He gets up the Armlet. So it's going to be really, really hard to kill right now. Armlet and Treads.
Yeah, now he as well, getting himself some good ancient stacks. This is all under the eyes of Newbee, though. They know exactly what's going on, but not a lot they can do in terms of contesting that.
Yeah, but this is very worrisome for Newbee, where the Bat Rider's dagger is going to be extremely slow because of the stacks getting stolen. And if you look at the big picture of things, like SVG on his Slaughter might get the blink at around the same time as the Bat Rider. This is not looking good for Newbee. If the two teams are continuously trading farm, I think MP will be much more comfortable with the position.
They have walked into Aoi, and that would be a perfect pick-off to find. They have a global silence available if necessary. It looks like they'll be able to get the pick-off without it, dragging him back with the lasso and allowing SCCC to pick up the kill. A very, very nice find for Newbee, sweeping into the jungle.
They really needed that very, very badly, as the game is not going too well for them. If both teams are passively farming, it's going to favor the Alchemist side.
Courier? What? They saw him there because they kind of backed it back away, but then they just let it fly back over him. I don't know what's quite happening here.
Well, maybe the person who's using it was talking to someone and he didn't notice the morphling.
I mean, there must have been some miscommunication there.
Yeah, someone else was trying to use the courier and he was like, he was talking and then it happens.
Courier down. Nice bit of goal for Newbee.
You know, shit happens. So right now for Newbee, they're still really concerned about this Alchemist because they are not being able to get any kills on him. Like with all the smokes, they've been killing the other heroes, but not the Alchemist. I mean, the Luna kill was great, the last one. But the previous few ganks, they only got the supports, and so the Alchemist has so far been left untouched. He cleared all his stacks. I mean, he's gonna be well on his way to his Radiance, despite it not being the fastest timing because he went for the power trades.
Let's see what they can get done down here on the bottom lanes. MP coming in for a tier 1 push. Yes, Triple C and Kaka in the neighborhood. Get a bit of a go on to the Morphling there, as he forces him back. The replica will be quickly taken down though, as I'll bring that out. It's actually going to be able to survive for a bit, but not a lot of use Newbee can make it of it here, as they're not actually going to jump in, but at the same time, MP being very careful about how they push in onto this tier 1, and they're actually going to avoid the fight.
They were trying to pressure when they knew KP doesn't have Lasso, but his Lasso is back up right now, so they're backing off. If you look at the builds that MP went for, Aoi went for first item Helm of Dom, so it's one of the most farm-centric builds that you can go for on the Luna. And Alchemy is going for Radiance, and you have the Darkseer pushing out lane, so MP is going to be really looking to play a very slow and passive game. They're going to try to farm up as much as they can before the Slardar gets his blink. Once the blink comes online, then they're going to be starting to look to fight. But right now, they are really, really content in just farming, stacking up the jungle, Ancients, whatever they can get their hands on.
And KP actually smoked up for this move. He's on his own.
He has his dagger. He has more than enough gold for the dagger. So with the Roshan going down and using the Firefly in the mid lane. Didn't expect the blink to come at 14 2 minutes ago.
No, he's really cleaned up. Had a bit of a rocky start, KP.
Yeah, the Luna kill was really huge for KP. And right now they got the Roshan as well on top of that. So Newbee gonna be in a good position to pressure, because against what NP have, Newbee needs to constantly pressure them, take towers, force fights if possible, get objectives, and secure map control. They can't let MP be farming contently the whole map.
As we saw there from that beautiful camera shot, the blink dagger now safely and securely delivered to KP. And they want to make something happen with this, I guess. We have SCCC having the Aegis and actually finding Rose here on his own with a global silence to make sure no defensive disruption or backup comes out.
Kill secured, I would call that.
I mean, that is the global silence down for a couple of minutes, but you get the kill.
I guess they were like worried about maybe a self-disrupt.
And look at Envy's build. He's going for the Maelstrom, Windsor.
Oh, he changed his mind. Okay.
What do you think about that decision? Because he obviously was starting to stockpile the gold, and it did look indeed like he was going to go for the more standard, but suddenly, bam, Maelstrom comes out.
Well, this is the reason why I was thinking about whether the Alchemist will go for the Solar Crest build, because this game against the Drow, I was worried that they might be under a lot of pressure, and maybe he was considering the possible option of going for another build, a less greedy build, because you're up against the Drow. If you go for the Radiance build, it's going to take some time. Unless you have a super good start.
KP, indeed, he finds the lasso that he was looking for, as SVG was not expecting the jump on him from the back.
That was huge. He was close to his blink on the Slardar, so that was a big pick off there on SVG.
KP just getting his own one out and showing it in the face of SVG and saying, "Where's yours at now, mate?" And indeed, as you said, knocked back a little bit there, SVG on the Slardar. And 7-4. I mean, obviously in this game, there's definitely strengths for both sides showing. Envy, he's finding the timing. It's obviously going to be interesting to see what he gets done with this Maelstrom and see if he turns up to fights and such. I mean, is that the plan? Because surely if you were going to farm, you would just pick up the Radiance. Is this Envy saying the team needs me in these engagements?
He's still farming though. I think maybe the other possible reason why he's doing this is because of the Morphling Replicate, so you don't want to give him a Radiance illusion to
That
push.
is true.
So
I think that's it. That's it, Winter.
I'm not sure if it's the main reason.
I reckon that's got to be 90% of the reason.
Because you could also put the argument that you have a Shadow Demon, so you want to have the Radiance illusions on your Shadow Demon.
Okay, 80% of the reason.
I don't know, but it seems rather strange going for this build, but this is the only reason I can feel why he actually wanted to go for the Maelstrom build.
Oh, look at this here from MP, ready for some aggressive maneuver. They're smoking up, looking to wrap around behind Newbee. SCCC, the one furthest forward at the moment, but he does have a replicate out.
He has Aegis though.
It's a very hard hero to try and make a jump on, and he's already out there to the illusion.
it's possible they were kind of banking on someone else to be on around the vicinity, and they were just really trying to get any pick-off they can find. But right now, SVG still 400 short of that blink.
I mean, talking about Blink, what's Kaka going for? He's got enough money for a Blink
Midas?
himself. I mean, he's not bought the Midas, and he's had the money for a bit of time. He's building about 2.3k gold in the Silencer's hand.
There's no certain, there's no fixed build for a Silencer.
There's a lot of flexibility for Silencers.
You can go for like a 4-star, a Glimmer. You can go for anything your team needs, I think. There's no set build on the hero. It's one early Mjolnir on the Alchemist, 17 minutes in. 17
minutes. It's going to be interesting to see the potency of it. Obviously, I kind of like the Radiance. It does help with the farming because of the lightning procs, but in terms of turning up to the fight and such, I'll see how effective it is going to be against Newbee's lineup. So SVG with that Blink Dagger could be the key to get MP to join forces, bring the Alch into the fight and find a pick-off. Or find a fight.
I mean, right now the Alchemist has only like 2 points in stun. Probably wants to fight maybe in a few more levels when he has the stun maxed out. Then he wants to keep focus on trying to get, I think especially the Silencer. You want to pick up the Silencer before anything happens. That's your key hero. So you take the global silence out of the picture. Has he purchased anything? No, he still has 2.5k.
2.5k on the. Is he going straight up Hex? Hex first item?
I mean, Hex is really good on Silencer.
Yeah, if he can get a Hex, as that really could be incredibly potent in this matchup. E-Blade is now done.
What other options?
On the Morphling.
What other options that he could possibly be thinking of? Like Lotus Orb isn't. Nah, not Lotus Orb. Not this game probably. I think Hex is probably like the biggest item and the most impactful item.
Oh, look at this wraparound though for Newbee. They're coming around from the backside. KP getting a good jump onto the Alchemist. The global silence coming out from Kaka. They try and get in with the Slardar. Gust out as well as they've taken down Alchemist as well as Rose. SVG to be beaten down upon as well. And that is the combo that we talked about there. The Batrider blink and the global silence.
Did you see that timing? The Slardar blink in and he was so crushing and the global came out.
Yeah, I think we might even be able to check back on a replay of the perspective of KP there on that one.
Was so close. That was like 0.1 of a second remaining before he cast his crush. Might have been able to save the Alchemist there, and the global comes out at the perfect time.
Yeah, incredibly clutch play from Newbee. They secured themselves the towers as well, and not only the fight.
4K right
what
now.
Is he? Well, let's watch this though. Look, this is KP's perspective. And instantly sees Envy, knows it's safe to go, and we can also see that Slardar, bam, jumps in, but the global's already out. And suddenly, MP are kind of caught in a position where they just can't achieve anything at all. You see Envy try and get the lightning shield out to him, but it does very little at this stage with the speed that Newbee taken down.
By the way, we got our answer. He bought a 4-star.
He brought a 4-star.
I think he was thinking
how anticlimactic.
He was thinking about something else, like probably going for a Hex straight, and then 4-star is great.
Maybe his morph was like baby raging. He was like, the Alch's not built a Radiant. Silencer, get on that now. I need to make illusions of someone with the Radiant. Kaka, this is your job. And then Kaka was like, stop being silly. I'm building a 4-star. You're being very, very silly, SCCC. But in all honesty, SCCC, he's not. He's 303. He's working on the Manta, I imagine. After the E-Blade.
Oh, he has
he's got the Blade of Alacrity.
Blade of Alacrity. Most likely the Manta here.
And 20 minutes in, it's looking very good for him, but Envy as well on the Alchemist. We'll see where his build progresses post Mjolnir. I mean, what are you kind of expecting to see from Envy now? It's just a follow-up still.
AC.
You think AC over Manta and such?
Because he doesn't have a Radiant, so I don't think he wants Manta.
Okay. No, even against the Silencer and the Drow, is that not something you need to be that worried about?
Oh, here comes SEC.
Yeah, here comes the pain from Newbee. KP in onto MSS, and he's quickly out, accepts his fate, and stands there for the show. It's getting a little bit gruesome here for MP. 11 for 4 for Newbee. SCCC in a place that he needs to be. Aoi is still farming relatively well. He's absolutely on par, and if not just ahead of the Drow Ranger. So Aoi is still in a good place. It's all going to be about how well MP can utilize the team composition and items that they built up in the fights against what Newbee have. As we've seen, if Newbee get a good jump onto MP, it's sort of borderline impossible for them to fight back into that global silence if it comes out well.
Against the global, it's definitely not possible for them until they have their Greaves, until they have their Lotus off. But before those items come online for MP, it's going to be like close to impossible for them to take a fight. But then again, their heroes are really good at pushing out the lanes. The Darkseer Iron Shell, Alchemist with the Acid, and you know the Mjolnir. They have good ways of making sure that the lanes are always pushed out. So even if you give off a pick-off against the Bear Island plus the global, you make sure that Newbee can't siege your base. And then you try to make a play after, because global is still a really long cooldown.
I kind of like this as well. MV going for the playmaker, but he's picked up a Blink Dagger.
Oh, this is pretty good too.
Yeah.
It's going to allow him to, especially the Drow, because Drow is still a very squishy target if you can actually get the stun and blink on her.
Well, as you can see down bottom, SVG playing around with an illusion. Top lane, though,
coming.
Rose is the one with the bigger issues. Newbee getting a kill and actually trying to fight round through the backdoor protection of that tower, which they won't actually even need to do so very shortly with the wave pushing in.
Yep.
MV, he sees himself a freebie.
Freebie.
Ay.
Ooh.
What?
Didn't he have a blink?
I did. Can we get a replay of that? I want to see a player perspective replay. I don't know if production can do that.
Oh, he almost died to the silent. Dude! Oh, he almost died.
Wait.
Holy shit. He actually almost died to a support silencer.
That was
He actually almost died there.
fascinating. It really, really was. On top lane, they've nearly found themselves a tier 3 here, Newbee. Pushing in.
Okay, just Jackie Moutings,
Yeah, we love him.
Dude, he went for Hurricane Pike on the silencer.
Oh,
We got a
watch
replay.
the blip. What?
Oh, it's cooldown? Oh, it's on cooldown.
Oh, it's on cooldown. He didn't do the maths. He didn't do the maths.
Why wouldn't he charge the stun
He didn't do the maths.
like 2 seconds later?
He didn't do the maths, Winter.
Alright.
It was half a second out. Oh.
Maybe he was worried about the silencer farming that wave and running away, so he kind of didn't want to wait for... Yeah, it could be a part of his thought process, so he felt like he needed to try and get the kill as soon as possible. But didn't work out for him. So right now, the silencer picked up the Hurricane Pike and Newbee. The rest of the Newbee heroes smoked up, since silencer is not really needed at the fight there. He just needs to cast his global. And his team just needs to find an easy pick off with the lasso here. Can they actually get the Alchemist? They have a ward here. If he's going to run into... No, he's not going to run into the
What's the build now? Is he just going to go for the BKB? Full fight? Or, I mean, can he do anything else with that? I mean...
No.
Mjolnir Deso, let's go.
Nah,
that's...
He's going to get BKB. So he runs in, doesn't have to worry about the silence. Still a very peculiar Alchemist build.
It really is. I don't think I've seen anyone else do this
KP,
recently.
they're going to spot him out with the ward
Yeah,
here.
the smoke's gone, and immediately this time the jump in successful. Envy's there to follow through with SVG. They get themselves a nice tasty bit of gold into Envy's pocket.
They need a gem so that doesn't happen. Newbee needs to check for wards and make sure that MP is playing in the dark. Like vision is going to be really important for the kind of lineup they have. Like MP's lineup is much more late game orientated, so they're going to look to try and get as much farm as possible. So if they are forced to play without vision, they're going to have to stay in the base, and it's going to be really difficult for them to get farm outside of the map. So vision is going to be the next important thing that Newbee has to control against MP.
And talk to me about this as well, something that we don't necessarily see all the teams do, but I think maybe something more done so in China. KP's decision to get the Ether Lens on the Batrider, is it just crucial to have that extra bit of catch potential from range?
I think it's not down to region. I think it's down to player preference. I know certain players like the item. Like personally, I like the item because it gives me more room for error. Like sometimes I'm trying to blink into a position where I don't have vision.
Yes.
But having the lens means I can actually blink.
Oh, you've got a big kind of area of error,
yeah,
that you can still be successful.
And it gives like a good region. I kind of like the region sometimes, but I think overall it's up to player preference what you want. Some players would prefer to say, oh, I just want a BKB, so I can BKB and just blink in, and I don't have to worry about anything. Or some players might want to go for a use, for example. A use gives you movement speed and allows you to have another tool to stop TP, since now you can't stop TP with the flame break. So it's just up to what you want to do and how you want to play. Shadow Blade? Wow, this is like a carry silencer here.
I mean, Kaka he's really transforming into a core role with the
Is he actually going to finish up a Silver Edge as well? Like Silver Edge provides good stats, good intelligence, so you can actually deal more damage with your glaives. Good attack speed. This silencer is not something to be whittled with right now. He deals so much damage with the draw aura.
I mean, he's hitting for a good 200 or so, and that's before you...
180 per pop before the glaives.
Before the glaives, yeah. And
80% of around 90 intelligence, so that's like...
Do the maths, Winter.
Another 65 damage. Oh my god.
And that's pure. That's pure dirt. It's, as you said, when it kind of came in the draft, it was something that...
And he's going to be bloodlusted, by the way.
Bloodlusted? Yep, we'll throw that in.
Bloodlusted, draw aura, silencer.
It's pretty nasty. I mean, MP, they've certainly got their work cut out. Again, I'm interested to see where MV continues to go with this one. On top of the BKB, he now does have 3,000 gold.
He definitely needs armor item.
You'd like to just, the AC, I think,
yeah,
as you said.
I like AC next.
Yeah.
He's trying to go for this
He
kill.
wants to
Can
go
he
for
get it this
Kaka.
time?
Okay, he may be in trouble, though. There is backup here, so he may have got the silencer, which is posing as a core, but it is just a support. MV will put the BKB. He tries to TP out. Oh, is he going to do it? Oh, MV! He would only go and do it, wouldn't he? I mean, Envy, he continues to give us incredibly Envy-esque performances. It's... No one else does stuff like that and gets away with it.
Every time or when you cast his games, it always happens like something
It's, you know, Envy sits down, he's like, OD Pixel Chan is watching me. I will pull out these extravagant performances that have never been seen before. Amazing.
Oh my god.
Will it win in the game? That's another question, because Newbee, they're now knocking on his door. They're up to the racks. And MP, they've got to pull a defense together here.
Where's their team?
Where's their carry? Well, he's sitting at 1/3 of health, and he's back to base. Owie taking a nuke to the backside there from SCCC. Envy jumps. Oh, Envy! He's just done it. He's not morphing out for once. The Aegis on the ground. Can they kill him a second time? That's the question. Looking for the jump in, but the global side is never there. Oh, the damage! Envy! He's a genius! The Basher pickup there, securing the kill. U9 will get out. He didn't get the Bash there. Envy giving a bit of mercy to the side of Newbee, but it's working out, Winter. It's the Alk build.
Dude, he got greedy. He didn't like replicate out right away. He was like, I'm gonna, try and punch the enemy.
He didn't expect the Basher. Yeah. That was only just picked up. He didn't expect the bash.
Oh yeah, that's right. He didn't know that he has a Basher.
No.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. And they see U9.
And Envy's like,
look at him. Oh, they're going to go and find Kaka on the way around. They'll take the silencer instead. They'll surround him. Owie's there as well. The losing beam. But good force. Using the force there, Newbee. Getting Kaka back to safety. Owie, he's looking to dive. He's looking to chase. He's going past the tier 2. Owie. Is the SVG going to make the jump? No. Oh, come on, SVG.
That was some triple 4-star action right there.
That's beautiful.
That's why you told your support to get a 4-star. Don't get a Midas.
Get a
4-star.
Midas doesn't save heroes.
But I'm going to get a 4-star later.
Oh, what do we got?
Midas.
Oh, here we go. Inside the mind of Envy. Jumping in. Oh, there's a hero here. Oh, nice lasso, mate. I don't give a damn. I've got a BKB. I've got a TP flame break. What are you at, mate? It's 6.88. I'm off. You can't do anything about it. Chemical Rage. Good spell.
There was like one more click. Anything would have killed him there.
But the thing is, he knew it was one more click, Winter, and that's why he made that play. All in the mind.
It was all part of the plan,
All part of the Kakaku. Who is actually 9K and playing for Newbee at the moment on this silencer. 12 for 7. It's a game that was looking pretty good for Newbee at the start. Well, obviously, we still mentioned that MP had these strengths, and as you can see from this swing around, back into the hands of MP potentially now at this stage of the game. They have obviously lost. Well, it's only the range tracks, isn't it, on the top? Who cares about that? I don't even know what's in the game. But Abyssal Blade is now done for Envy. He's even scary now in these fights. Newbee have to be careful how they jump into this Alchemist, because if you're not disabling Envy and taking him out at the start, he's going to punch back incredibly hard.
He's going to kill anyone he sees with the stun and Abyssal. And right now, because of the BKB, he has the Morphling can't really burst him with the Adaptive plus E-Blade combination. So this Alchemist is right now a big problem for Newbee. I don't think they have enough like physical damage to kill him through the BKB yet. So they need the drought to get... I guess you want to finish maybe get a damage item like a butterfly, then you'll be able to deal with this Alchemist better. But as of right now, this Alchemist Envy is a problem for Newbee.
He really is. Kaka, indeed, as you mentioned, going straight for the Silver Edge, just needs about 700 more to have that done. He's already picked up the recipe, so preparing to finish off the Silver Edge.
I don't know about finishing off the Silver Edge now.
You would like to see something else on Kaka?
Right now, I feel he needs a Hex because of the BKB and the Alk. I mean, it's a long way there, so getting a Silver Edge would provide you, good stats right now for the price it gives you, and the damage reduction is really nice, like the overall damage reduction when you don't have a BKB. But both the cores of MP have their BKBs up, so I don't know how much it's gonna, change the game with the Silver Edge. I would personally prefer the Hex right now. I think he's gonna most likely get it after the Silver Edge. He's still gonna go for the Hex, but getting it at a later timing might, allow the Alchemist to do a lot of damage in the game.
I guess the question is as well, with this Alch build, he probably still look to switch out the arm now, I imagine, for something, but all talking about the Alch.
Escape again?
Have they got the damage to kill him? That's the question. They lasso him back, initial nuke hit from the Morphling, but Envy pops the BKB, starting to try and walk this off. He's going to make it. They pop the Global Silence, but there's no real kind of follow-up initiation from Newbee after their first jump in. They just got to global and run. Faith, caught in the tree line, they know he's there, MP. They'll look for the Ogre Killers. SVG jumps forward. They surround Faith. They'll take something, but again, it really feels like Newbee, they must be scientists because they are baffled. They do not know what to do against MP at this stage. They're trying to jump in, and they just don't know how to kill Envy.
And U9 went for the Aghanim, so he didn't go for a damage build, but he's going for a more like speed push, farm. You get more farm. They're gearing up for the late game. Like, they understand that it's not going to be possible for them to end the game right now. They're not going to be able to get any more opportunities to push the high ground. The game is definitely going to go for the long run, and just going for a more farming, more economy build on the draw here. Going for more late game.
And here's the time to push really for MP. Both Lasso and Global Silence on the sidelines. I mean, Lasso's going to be up very, very shortly, but Global at least is a full minute downtime still. As MP ready to push in, and we'll see how much they can get done. Kaka already trying to harass back Aoi, but immediately with the man start backs off. There's the Lasso back off as he jumps in MSS with the 3-man, and the follow-up there, crush from SVG. Aoi comes in with the Eclipse. They've taken down 2. Aoi survives here with the Glimmer Cape. He's going to TP out. His support's keeping Aoi alive. He'll get himself back to safety. Envy walking this off like a walk in the park.
What a play by the Darkseer, Slara, and the Shadow Demon. 3 of those heroes combining together to keep their carry alive. First with the Vacuum into the Crush, and then the Glimmer Cape.
The power of friendship, Winter.
The power of friendship is real. You keep your bro alive, At all costs, you keep your bro alive.
Very, very sweet play. I mean, we have seen kind of dives and plays like that behind tier 3s before that haven't gone perfectly, but that really did. You lose nothing. It's not the biggest kills, but it's the intimidation that MP are enforcing on Newbee. They're like, you want to jump in? Go on, Aoi. We'll jump in back on you. Beautiful 3-man vacuum into the Crush. Aoi just going ham, and he knows that he can, because Rose is there, and he says, be careful, my fair fella. I will protect you from these nasty men, and you will return to the land of the beautiful.
You sound like a Disney story. Yeah.
I sound like a Disney story. Wow.
That's always a happy ending, yeah.
They're all. I do like a happy ending, Winter. Roshan has respawned. Newbee with the positioning to take it, and they can take it very quickly, so we'll see if they are going to ultimate indeed. They're just going to go straight into the pit. They know that they've got good control of the map around here. The question is if MP can get over here to contest it, and to be fair, the speed that Newbee get it, this should be a freebie for them by the looks of it.
Yep, and finally KP has a gem, thanks to the support. But even with the Aegis on Newbee, it doesn't seem like, MP's going to be too worried. They're going to just keep doing their thing, keeping the lane push out with the illusions from SD and Luna, the Darkseer as well, pushing the lanes and trying to, make it very difficult for Newbee to make a play and get a pick off to push high ground.
I see what they can do. Indeed, as you said, they need to find something with this.
Yeah, they want to force something, whereas MP, it's not really.
I mean, Envy's taking a bit of a walk up on the top lane. He does obviously have the bots to get back, but Newbee are already looking to wrap around onto him. He's already botsing out. He's fine. He's back to base. Newbee, they won't get the hero. They'll be able to start to pressure in this top lane.
He's going to buy Aghanims for someone.
Who's he going to give it to first?
The Luna Eggs is pretty tempting, though.
It is. I mean,
you put your ulti on the Slara and he blinks, he blinks in.
Winter.
Shadow Demon is also pretty good.
Shadow Demon, I mean, yeah. I mean, in terms of, I guess it's very nice in terms of dealing with the bat. when he jumps in?
Honestly, I think you do it on the Luna, and then
You do it on the,
and then
okay.
the Slara jumps in. You put the Eclipse on the Slara before he goes.
I mean, I feel as if if you're looking at MSS and you're saying if you're hitting walls like that, we'll give you the axe. You know what I mean? That was a beautiful wall.
That is true. Like the Darkseer axe actually gives a lot of damage.
Yeah, having a buffed up illusion of Drow, yes, please. We'll take that.
Yeah, honestly,
But who did he go?
Options.
He's not finished it. No, Envy's still working on it now.
He's keeping buyback gold.
Yeah, you want to play it safe when you're putting this amount of pressure on you and keeping yourselves tucked into the base. But he does have the surplus now, so he can go ahead with the purchase. So we can expect that very soon from Envy. And
so who's
we'll see the option.
Who's gonna get the love from Envy?
Or Rose is standing close, and I think Rose got it. No, not. Here we go. Who's gonna get it?
The Luna. Yeah.
The Luna did. Owie.
Here's the
Getting the priority.
Dude, wait for the vacuum into Slarda Crush with the Luna ulti on top of that.
The heroes are going to disappear so quickly. It's pretty insane.
This is actually super strong. Like, I think it's one of the underrated Aghanims upgrades of the game. It's really, really good.
I mean, I guess it's just something normally, if you're playing Luna, you don't really want to be building it yourself, do you? There's other items that you kind of need to get late game.
That's a good point, but I've seen players where they actually go for the Aghanims as their probably second item after the Dragon Lance or Brigand Pike. They go for and Helm. They go for the Aghanims. I've seen it done before, but just like not a big event, but some local events, and I think it's like pretty good because it actually provides you with a lot of stats if you're looking to keep fighting and you're not looking to drag the game too long.
Oh, and Envy. He's looking for the jumping onto S-Triple-C, and he manages to pop the Linkers with the initial jump and then follow for Abyssal Blade. They do get a good lasso, and Envy's surrounded and taken down out for 80, but there's the vacuum wall. Aoi coming in as well with that Eclipse, bringing Newbee incredibly low here. S-Triple-C's trying to morph his way out of this one, and Newbee do keep themselves all alive as they survive a very heavy attack there from MP.
Envy didn't pop his BKB there when he went in. So he just got destroyed by the E-Blade plus Adaptive Strike combo. Yeah,
this Morphling certainly still a massive issue. Scardy's complete for S-Triple-C now.
They're going to try to force Jackie to buy back here.
I'm actually going to see them actually come through the wall again. SVG getting the crush off. Those illusions are already gone though, as they've already passed through once it's been out, so they don't have to worry about going through it again.
So they dropped their wall, they dropped the Eclipse.
Still Jackie hasn't been forced to buy back. 30 seconds.
They're just trying to use the illusions to slow the push down. Seems like it's going to be more than enough for them. Newbee are really, really worried about going. Oh, they're going to just run in. Look at the damage the illusions is doing.
Oh, Rose taking a nuke to the backside. They are going to fortify. And at the least, it looks like they will hold on to the buyback of Envy. But Newbee get what they came for. They get the racks. And Kaka already looking to double back in with the Shadow Blades. See if he can catch anyone out here on the edge of the high ground of MP's base. But MP grouping up themselves towards the middle. They're all back up. Did cost Rose the buyback, and they are now a full set of racks down on the top.
Yep, MP has to be really, really careful in the next few minutes. They cannot afford any big mistakes anymore. Like, Newbee is really strong at this stage. They have to be cautious when they're moving out. Like, the SD, he may be a support, but he's a very important member of the team right now in their base defense. They can't afford to give away any pickups on the SD anymore.
Oh, and this wraparound from MP. They're out of the base.
Global is up in 10 seconds though.
They've got the wall. They don't have Eclipse.
This is tough.
Who can they get the jump on here? I'm going to see the Newbee spotting them out. Already trying to burst down Rose. I'm going to be able to nuke him straight away. The wall's going to be dropped, catching out S-Triple-C and Kaka. Demonic Purge as well onto the Morphling. In fact, Envy's managed to find U9 on the side, got the jump in and finished off the Drow Ranger on his own. And at the end of the day, they'll be fine with that. They've got a vacuum back on S-Triple-C as well. He's already utilised the TP. Envy closing in with the concoction, pots the PKP to make sure that he can throw it. And Envy now getting in range, bashing him down. Can they actually kill him? Yes, they can. They've done it. Envy with the concoction, that was perfect. He's charging it up. The global silence comes out. Kaka says, ha-ha. And then Envy says, ha-ha, I've got a BKB to make sure that I can chuck it. This is the solo kill.
This fight is all Envy. This fight, he gets a pick off on the Drow, and then he makes that play there, getting another kill on the Morphling. Just all in all, like great play from MP. The wraparound and Envy's initiation and this.
They have to be careful with this push. They're pushing forward with just 2. Aoi maybe getting a little too confident, forgetting that there's still 3 left alive. Indeed, it looks like Envy trying to come in to back him up. They've got the Eclipse. Aoi moving forward. BKB and Glimmer caped up. Envy, can he find any more of this concoction? Doesn't look like he can. Newbee get themselves far enough away, and that is Aoi utilizing the BKB down for a full minute, of course, again, and Eclipse is not there as well. They'll try and push in nonetheless, but they do have to be careful. U9's back up. And in 30 seconds, they'll be more to deal with as well. Envy, indeed, his BKB is still on cooldown for 3 seconds. They need to keep him alive. BKB in 1 second, he gets it out. And Chemical Rage, he's even thinking about turning around the vacuum again. MSS! Oh my god, this Darkseer! It's absolutely perfect play in that fight from NP as they catch 3. They'll clean out the mid set of racks. Kaka buying back. MSS now with a Shiva's Guard as well. This has been some incredibly godly play here from this Darkseer, and SVG's always there with the follow-up. There's 3 heroes now down on Newbee. They do not have buyback. NP able to do serious amounts of damage here. Aoi picks up a refresher. Ready for the GG fight. Rose. Oh, he disrupts himself here to dodge the initial bit of damage. He's in a bit of problem. Can his team save him? No, they can't. Rose is out. Envy comes in, gets the stun on test. Triple C. Envy falling low. Again, the vacuum and crush from MSS and SVG. There's Triple C's forced to buy back. Kaka's out for 80 seconds. And NP clean up the top set of racks as well. There's still a tier 2 bottom protecting that final set, so they'll almost certainly back off and look to just get that lane pushed out. But still, NP turning up the heat, and Newbee don't know what hit them.
Oh my god, that's some teamwork right there. Darkseer and Slardar. This is the reason why teams have been utilizing the support Slardar a lot. It's so easy to execute it with the Darkseer, and it's so deadly as well at the same time. With the crush, the low cooldown crush, and the amp damage. They don't even actually need the amp there. Once the vacuum was out, the fight was practically over with just 1 stun.
And just look how much Aoi had enough money off the back of that fight. He's got refreshers, and he's still got 3.8k gold in the bank.
I'm still waiting for that combo.
Which combo?
The Eclipse on the Slardar with the vacuum.
I'm sure it's coming soon. I mean, Slardar, SVG now has a Shadow Blade as well. Even easier for him to follow through the jump-ins from MSS.
Wait, basically everyone is going to die. No, wait, look at their heroes.
Everyone is going to die.
No one has BKB. No one has BKB.
Why would you buy a BKB?
Dude, you're against a Luna.
That is true.
With Aghanims.
You should tell them that. Oh, there we go. Just each and every time. I don't think we've seen MSS vacuum anything less than 3 heroes at a time.
Oh my god, they have no BKBs on anyone.
Oh, poor old Rose though. He's not having fun with this Morph C-Blade.
Life of a support, Owen. You know,
yeah.
Life of a support.
KP. He's angry. He wants some blood. He wants some tasty, tasty anime blood, but he's not going to find it. MP. Backing away. Not going to allow themselves to be jumped on. Newbee again though. Finding that timing where they're able to find the space around Roshan to be able to head in themselves and finish it off. Will give themselves the cheese in the Aegis. MP just not in the neighborhood at all to contest this.
Dude, I just can't wait for it to happen. The double Eclipse on the Slardar and no one has BKB. Even with the Aegis and cheese, they're still going to die.
It's going to be like 22 beams 22 coming out in a matter of seconds.
It's going to be like almost close to instant.
It's going to...
So big.
Oh, it is literally going to be this massive kind of iron cannon shooting from the sky down onto the heads of Newbee. But the funny thing is really that Newbee, they still can win this game. Even though 2 ranks down, a bad fight, and Newbee can just charge down lane with his Drow and finish it. So MP have to be careful.
It's also about the first move. If they can actually make a really good initiation with the bat, and pick off Alchemist, like what happened in top lane. He didn't pop his BKB. He got lassoed. Global. They couldn't disrupt him, and he was just dead after. I think SD really needs, but he's very poor. Like he can't really afford the Lotus. Like he really needs to get one of the items to help him deal with the global. But not gonna have the luxury to do that as a support right now. Having a really tough game. Darkseer on the other hand has the briefs to deal with the global, so he's the only one that's gonna be able to save the Alchemist.
Oh, Envy. He's been baited in by an illusion, but it looks like he'll be okay. Newbee not looking to jump in off the back of that. KP's flapping his way over.
Yep. Can he get the initiation?
I mean, if at this point, who's KP looking to rip out the fight first? Because he's got a number of targets that he needs to worry about.
I think one of the big calls, the Alchemist or the Luna, and you make sure you get the global so the SD can't get the disruption on top of that. He needs, I think probably the Alchemist would be your primary top target. He's the one that's going to be able to jump and kill your Morphling with the Abyssal and the amount of damage that he has. Luna has not gone for the physical damage build. He has gone for the Refresher Agonist build. So I think the main threat will be on the Alchemist. You want to kill him and get BKBs on your heroes so that the Lunar Eclipse doesn't do anything.
I mean, is anyone even working? We see what 2.2k on U9. Obviously, Morph's not really wanting to give up a slot for that BKB.
A last item BKB probably.
Yeah, there's just so many more things that SCCC wants to be holding, and indeed Butterfly is what he's looking to build at the moment with that quarterstaff, as we'd imagine. But Newbee looking for a wrap around here. MP actually huddling in the tree line around the side shop. Let's see if they're prepared for this. KP jumping forward, MP grouped up. Who's going to get the jump? Rose Glimmer Caping seems to get a bit of vision as he comes close. He's actually going to be the target that gets immediately lasted. SVG coming in with the 2 bats. Oh! The Eclipse rips them down! 3 out! Oh! I think he managed to use the cheese to keep himself alive there on the drought.
Oh my god.
The cheese did save U9, only just, but it's a bit of a...
BKB.
He's not right. I put BKB, lads. Screw this. I'm done. BKB on the Morphling. SCCC does not want to mess around with that after he just saw the power that MP can rip out. SVG, he's just styling. He's got a Shadow Blade. U9, he doesn't carry detection. He's a core. Don't be silly. Oh! Envy?
Oh, he didn't have ultimate up and he was still hitting the tower.
Oh. Okay. So, it was a nice fight, but Envy dies, and we're back on with the game. Newbee will be able to push out this bottom lane.
That's how it feels to be a Cloud9 fan, yeah?
It really does. Suddenly, someone gets excited. They're doing it, but then Newbee are like, nah. Oh, no, what a game indeed, though. 2019.
He was just trying to hit the tower too much because he saw the Morphling at top pushing the lane and the Morphling TP'd. He might have miscalculated a little, thinking that he had an extra 2 or 3 seconds, but Morphling just came back and just killed him.
Oh, we got the replay. Oh, okay, this is
the double Eclipse. Look at that.
It's
no BKBs, they just die.
And that's triple C. He waveforms in.
God.
Look at I want to see U9's cheese. That's what I want to see, yeah. U9 cheese at the last minute to keep himself alive. SCCC trying to see if he can find a pick off on the back of it. But
and Newbee pushing the bottom lane right now.
Yeah, I mean, does Envy need to buy back here? He might. I mean, 25 seconds is not that long. But at the same time, look how fast these guys
can
push.
Get the Slardar. Ooh, the Ether Lance.
Yeah, he's gone and he drags him in. SVG's down for a minute. He does not have buyback in Newbee. Keeping their composure in a chaotic game. They found themselves the second set of racks. They'll move over to the mid to look to take even more. Envy will be back in 5 seconds. He's going to need to have the fight of his life here to hold on to this one, especially as he'll be fighting without SVG by his side.
Darkseer needs to pull off a big vacuum.
And there we have Envy with the jump in. SCCC full incredibly low. There's the vacuum onto 2. SCCC going to get himself out? No, the Aegis is out. Okay, themselves back up to the high ground. BKB has been used already by Aoi.
They have 1 Eclipse right now. Refresher is 50 seconds off, so they won't be having that in their arsenal right now.
25 seconds and we are going to see SVG back in.
He can basically BKB and hit the racks if he wants to. Oh, he's hitting the racks.
Envy cooking up the concoction, jumps in. SCCC duking it out with the waveform. And KP trying to find the follow-up, but immediately the stun is there. Envy falling low though. Could he keep himself alive? Trying to back himself out of this fight. The Glimmer Cape's not going to be enough. He's out. He'll buy back immediately. Uni's been able to finish off both Aoi and MSS. They'll all buy back as well. And now Newbee trying to retreat, but they've already done the damage. Mega creeps are out.
But MP can still win this game. They need to take just the last set of racks from Newbee. It's still possible.
Can they do it?
Aegis is out, so they have to push out their lanes.
But look how much that fight cost them. Those 3 buybacks, setting them back a clear 6k.
I think it's still possible for them to win. They just need to...
All of Newbee have buybacks as well.
They just need to land a Darkseer plus Slardar Crush again. Oh,
there's a Hex on the silencer. Winter, this is extremely hard mode, at the least for MP at this stage to win.
Okay, there's another BKB on U9, so the double Eclipse probably not going to do so much now.
Unless they can get the jump on him before he gets it out.
Luna might have regretted going for the refresher here. They need more physical damage. Alchemist has been... what KP just needs to do. Lasso Alchemist, he's the only main physical damage. And the rest of the heroes pop their BKB. And Luna can't kill them. Once Alchemist is out of the fight, MP doesn't have enough damage to win. that's the problem MP is facing right now with this refresher build on Aoi. Might have regretted it. It looks nice on paper, you know, having the Aghanims and refresher, but it's like a little too all in. Like the enemy sees it. Oh, we just need to get our BKBs up right now, man. You're not gonna win the fight.
And that's what they did. Newbee reacting very nicely to MP's builds and plays, and now pressuring the tier 4s. What can MP do about this? They're looking for the smoke and the wraparound from the side. Envy, who's he going to get the jump in onto? He's looking for KP on the back line. He's trying to get out of the fight. The vacuum is there. Onto SCCC as well. They turn around, get the bash out. SVG forced out. He will keep himself alive for the time being. Aoi coming in with the Eclipse of the BKB, but KP gets the Dragon, brings Envy out of the fight with a buyback there. KP may have just secured the game for Newbee. They're forcing the rest of them back to base, and indeed with Envy on the sideline for 2 minutes, that'll allow Newbee to clean onto the tier 4s and on to more. They're looking for kills, looking for Aoi. SVG taking Glaives to the backside, will get himself back to base. Aoi trying to force SCCC as well, but with the nukes, Aoi's out as well. It's all falling apart for MP. Newbee take the victory there with some very, very smart decisions at the end. That buyback from KP immediately as he dies, gets back in, gets the lasso off onto Envy, securing the big kill that Newbee needed there to close this one up.
What a game, dude. What a game.
A very entertaining game.
And we just keeping the game so interesting with his build and his decision making overall. Like, he has his, you know, moments, flashy moments, but wasn't enough for them to seal the deal. I think when it came to late game, having that refresher on Luna really hurt them once the BKBs came out on the draw.
You feel, yeah, you feel if you're MP looking back at that game, you're saying maybe refresher wasn't the item.
Yeah.
I mean, you liked the decision at the time, but the fact was because you weren't closing the game up within what the next few minutes, the chances for BKBs to come out.
Unless you're closing the game in the next minute or so, the next 2 minutes, then getting the refresher is understandable. But because the game drawn out so long, they wanted to have the disruption illusions to push out the lanes, but they don't have a butterfly on the Luna, so that hurt them a lot.
They did not, indeed. And wow, what a game to open this final series of the day on Group B of with. We should be able to get the panel back in. Alex, are you there with the lads and ladies?
I am indeed. I am. Owen,
yes.
It's so cool that we are currently talking to each other at the Boston Major when we actually went to primary school. I don't think anyone knows this.
We did. We first talked to each other probably when we were, what, 5 years, 6 years old?
Yeah.
And now you're doing esports, I'm doing it. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, it's a crazy world we live in.
It really is. And, well, that game shows us. This is certainly a crazy world we live in. That game was pretty insane. Alex.
Awesome, and I like the decibel levels you reached. We'll be back with you for the second game. I'll leave you two to go ahead and have a cup of tea or whatever else you do. Slice of orange in the half. That's a football reference. I don't even know if they do that anymore. Either way, it's time to introduce our panel once more to explain why that game was worth shouting about. And indeed, Owen did make plenty of noise. I've got myself, Jack, joining us alongside Shiva and, of course, Gods. Newbee taking it. We have to start with, of course, Jack in this one. It didn't necessarily always look like a guarantee for Newbee.
Yeah, this was... Well, I don't know what to say about it. There's so many things to say. This was a classic...
Let's start at the beginning.
This is a classic game for Team NP in so many ways. You saw good Envy, bad Envy, keeping them in the game, making great plays. And then you saw at the end, like, those deaths, especially with the great plays from KP, his transformation as an offlaner, which we'll talk about, just making those crucial plays to end this game. And, I mean, at the very beginning, I think the thing that was most important was that Newbee did a great job of locking NP off of their jungle. By taking that mid and bottom tower, it became so hard for NP to go and farm those crucial stacks in their jungle and Ancients, which is what you want for Alchemist and Luna to reach their critical strength as soon as possible. And that was really great for Newbee. They were very surgical early on with those pickoffs and taking towers.
But it started so well for NP. They were able to kill KP in lane, I think twice at least. And, you know, their lanes were solid. They were able to get ahead on the Alchemist and Envy as well. And then come 10 minutes, somehow NP find themselves with less map control than Newbee, even though they were the ones getting ahead in the lanes.
Ooh. Yeah, Newbee were able to actually take towers, like kind of like Jack mentions. Once you take those first couple towers, you lose access to so much farm on the map, and that made it really difficult for them to maintain farm outside of just the Alchemist. Like, Alchemists get farm, but because you can't push out the lanes, you're constantly being pressured on your side of the map, and you're just not getting what you need across the board. And that's something where Envy also went for the Mjolnir build. He didn't go for the Radiance because he's playing against the Morphling, and that's one of those kind of debatable things where without the Radiance Manta type build, you can't push out the lanes as easily. It also does slow down the Morphling's farm and all that, but I think he did miss out from not having the Radiance a bit.
One of the kind of exciting characters we did highlight in the pre-match was SCC. Now, this Morphling was filling up during this game.
He was very farmed, to say the least, and he was able to keep up farm with Envy, which is impressive. on itself. I think more so. We talked about it before the series started. We were able to select a specific matchup for this game, right? That is the most interesting to watch. So it was MSS on the offlane Darkseer versus the KP Bet, and it really was the story of the offlanes. But not only that, this synergy. I mean, you heard Oni Pixel and Winter shout about it plenty, but the synergy between that Darkseer and that Slardar, every time again, making those vacuum into slithering crushes combinations, it was crazy that they could pull it off every single time and have as big of an impact as it did. It was, I mean, if we were to choose an MVP from NP, it would be MSS for sure. He did amazingly well.
Always giving MSS the necessary credit, and I do like that we have to kind of address KP and his Bat Rider. Gods, I want to throw this one towards you. This Bat Rider was impressive to you. In fact, without hesitation, when we were talking about, who would we put in the MVP column, it was KP without a doubt for you. What was that?
He made the big plays when it counted. Like, you get into these long 50, 60-minute games, and it turns in the way Dota works is like everyone gets so farmed, all these heroes are so strong that one mistake decides it, and one big play decides it in this case, and that was who's going to get the better jump, the better initiation. When they were pushing the bottom lane to get that Rax, he catches out the Slardar, takes away that follow-up to the Darkseer vacuum. In the late game, he was catching out Envy. He was the one who found the key pickoffs that broke the game open and secured a lane of Rax. So while he did have a rough start and had to spend time recovering, he found the big lassos in the moments where it really mattered.
So we thought that, we thought that Newbee was going to win this. At least most of us thought that Newbee was going to win this. But this game was a lot more even than we were expecting.
Then I spent 10 minutes thinking, oh, NP's going to win this. You know, it was Newbee's going to win it for the first 30 minutes, then NP's going to win it for the next 15, and then the last 5 or 10 was like, oh, okay, Newbee, they're okay again.
Yeah, Jack, do you feel like this is the Newbee that you were expecting, or is NP better than you were expecting, rather than Newbee being the same?
I mean, I'm going to go back to what I said initially. It's kind of classic Jackie, right? You see the deaths, you saw the one top, and then inside the base, and then you saw the great plays, getting that kill and getting them some space to keep them in the game. And then I think the thing that really stood out for me in this game is just the precision with which Newbee played, like very, very early on, especially KP. Maybe a few months ago, KP isn't able to make these kinds of plays and keep that tempo on the Bat Rider. I think just the months of being entrusted in that role of the space maker and the playmaker, that maybe he wasn't put in that role before. You saw those critical, obviously, lassos near the end of the game as well, but also to give them that decisive map control that they had early on. As soon as he gets that blink, he beats Slardar 2 and he starts making plays immediately. So I thought that was great.
I want to bring up the scoreboard at this interval just so we can actually demonstrate exactly what KP was doing oh so well. Alongside the others, I mean, we said already that if you were to give credit to an NP player, it seems like MSS was at the tip of many tongues. But Jack, you're also saying that Envy was one of those players. I like that you're suggesting this is classic Jackie. To perhaps the less familiar viewers, what is classic Jackie? You're suggesting he makes the kind of game-winning plays and perhaps even the game-losing.
Well, yeah, I'd start with that artist description, right? He sees things that no one else does and makes genius plays sometimes, but also it's things that no one else sees because they're bad or not necessarily good for his team.
Okay. Yeah. But we like the Alchemist pick. I mean, general consensus?
Yeah, I think it was really good.
Happy with that.
It put them in a good spot with the draft. I think up until it, I wasn't sold on NP's draft, and I saw, like, okay, there's not much to do with this. The Morphling, it worked out really well in the end with the Drow and did deter Alchemist going for the standard Radiance build, but Newbee just seemed like the better team, made the better decisions.
Well, towards the end, and of course, you were highlighting it before. It is worth reiterating. KP, as the game went on, he was your man to watch. He's of course flying that Aussie flag, so Gods is a little happy.
I'm biased. So
biased.
Yeah, absolutely.
MVP,
and Newbee win, KP's the reason why.
Yeah, I just realised that. I was like, hang on, I probably shouldn't be saying this. Hey, Gods, without hesitation, when I asked you who MVP was, you said KP.
I didn't even watch the game. No. I was stuck in an elevator for 15 minutes. You know.
What?
I missed like 8 minutes of the game on a slow elevator.
Are you serious?
It got stuck, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And then it started moving.
Has that ever happened? Have we ever had just a panelist disappear? I reckon that's. You could be the first.
I had once. It was Sir Action Slacks at his first Dream League, and he was asleep.
No. Well, he had a nap?
Producer, it was his first week. He just had massive jet lag.
Oh, no.
Producer did turn the microphone like all the way up, sensitivity. You could hear him snore in the background. It was amazing. So I mean, that was jet lag in place.
Slacks is having a nap.
I mean, could have woken him up, but this was more funny.
That is, I prefer that. I actually do. All right. Well, Slacks napping aside, we can have a quick look at social media. You guys have been throwing questions at us, and some of them have been fun. Some of them have been more analytical. And it looks like I'm going to try this again. Justas Galkinas. Woof, smash that. What could have NP done to help Envy? Okay, so they were asking what they can do to support Mr. Envy.
I think they were in a very difficult situation to support Envy. So they had Luna, takes up a lot of farm. Alchemist takes up a lot of farm. Darkseer generally soaks up quite a bit of farm as well as far as offlaners go. So all around there was a lot of people needing farm, and then Envy is just gonna have to do with a little bit less.
I think if they had like a blink on Shadow Demon or something towards the end, they could have maybe had some blink disruptions to protect against the lasso a bit better, but. It's always tough in those clutch games. Like you can say that's what Shadow Demon could have done, and then they can win. But it's like it's asking and requiring a lot. Like you don't want to be put in that position where you've got to stop the lasso with a disruption to win the game. Like that's you want to avoid getting that
dangerous
position
territory. Yeah. Well, we have got another question. Thank you very much for your submissions. This is actually really fun. I've never done this before. We get constant interaction with you guys. For Machine, Purge or Thorin? Oh, they're two very different characters.
I can't compare the two.
Yeah, that's not really a comparison I would make. Purge is like kind of a Dota James Bond, in my mind anyway. He dresses up, and
he has a very dry sense
of humor. If he's got a British sense of humor, he'd hate me to say that, but he does.
He probably would.
And Thorin is the CS, fill in the blank.
Thorin is the dank memer. Yeah, he makes memes and talks a lot, which is probably not what Purge does. Anyway, I'm just treading on really thin ice here. I'm like, I know I could do damage with this answer, so I'm being very conservative. Whew, Purge or Thorin? Good question, all the same, but very different. Very different.
You say good question. We're gonna go off camera with that.
That was a.
How can they put this one on there?
I did see one of Thorin's tweets popped up on the mid game. Actually, yeah. I don't know what it was. Something to do with power ranking. I don't even know. I don't know.
It's hashtag Boston Major.
Sorry?
By the way, hashtag Boston Major if people want to get their tweets visible.
Yes, indeed. There's the Reddit thread as well if you want to submit those.
Oh, yes, that too.
Lots of different avenues to get in contact with us. And, I mean, social media so far, we have to also remind everyone that right at the start of the day, Slax did that video with NP. And if you haven't seen it, you need to go back and watch it. Did you catch it, Gods? Their drawings?
No. It's on...
Is it on? It is on YouTube.
I think YouTube and Reddit probably has the link as well. It's everywhere because it was fun.
It made me very happy.
Yes.
Yeah. He was reading into their artwork, Gods, if you haven't seen it. It turns out that Rose is actually quite the artist. Yeah. Draws a mean flamingo, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, yeah, but no, Rose was the one that, and it was SVG that drew
drew the flamingo.
SVG drew the llama zebra.
It wasn't a horse, was it? It really wasn't a horse.
Horses have like long... snouts.
Yeah, please specify.
Shiva knows our horses.
Long snouts. Okay, on that bombshell, guys, let's move away from phallic instruments and back into Dota. Jack, let me compose myself. All I can think about is just...
So we just had a long game.
Long game.
Long game.
Yes. We want to start turning our attention to draft number 2.
Yeah. So we saw like after the match, we